Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and this is a first impressions, but it's going to be a little different because I did open it yesterday and I have used it a little bit, but I want to say that the review on this is going to be slightly different as well because a lot of this review is going to be the testing on the AARPM 9 steel. Right off the bat, I just want to say this knife is awesome. Normally, I don't say too much negative in a first impressions because I like to test and really try out the knife and see what comes about, because things come out of the woodwork. Sometimes things change, opinions change, so on and so forth. But I'm just going to say it right here, right now. This thing's awesome. It's very, very nice. I'm going to link it below. If you guys want to get it, get on it because it is a very, very nice knife. The action is incredible. It does have the AARPM 9 steel G10 steel liners, titanium clip and thumb studs. The thumb studs work incredibly well. The detent is very well tuned, and it also is well tuned for the flipper tab. Now, I got mine from Stasa 23's link. So he just did a video on this knife, and he had a link in his description, same as I do, so you can use my link, and I used his to get this because just the way it looks, man, it just looks awesome. It's my style of knife, first of all, and the choil's really nice on it. It's very generous, nice and thin too. This thing is very thin in the hand, so it's not, I thought it was going to be a lot thicker. That's all I'm going to say. I thought it was going to be a lot thicker, but it is nice and thin. The blade is like in the middle where it's not extremely slicey, but it's not robust. It's just that happy medium, but it does slice very, very well. Obviously, I haven't sharpened it or anything yet, but, you know, it cuts like a champ. Cuts really good. So once I lay the edge back a little bit to, you know, my kind of angle or edge angle, this thing, it's going to cut really well. The liner is very easy to get to, and the drop on it is incredibly smooth. Now, out of the box, it was incredibly smooth, but, you know, it does have the coating, so I noticed, even though it was very smooth, it was very, very smooth, I could tell, you know, the detent track probably wasn't broken in yet, but just from me flipping it since yesterday, this thing, it feels like the detent track is basically broken in already. Added a little KPL to it, but I think it's just a good looking knife. I do like the tie with the black combination. Now, speaking about the AARPM 9 steel, so I've tested AARPM 9 steel 4 times now, but that's it. And my experience has been, it's been weird. I couldn't say whether or not I liked it or not. Now, I will say it's a powdered steel. Now, some powdered steels I like, some I don't. Some I like more than others. So, you know, my experience with it so far, I had good experiences with it, and then I had some not the best experiences with it, and then some decent experiences with it. So, but one of them, it wasn't mine. And then other ones, like, it's just different. Like, it's kind of hard to explain. So with this one, I'm going to test the steel a lot more on this model now that they've been doing it for a while and everything else. Before I was using their AARPM 9 steel when they first started using it. So now I think that they've been using it for a little bit, and this is my kind of knife. So I will feel better about using it. One of the other ones I tested on was a very small knife, so it was hard to really judge it. The other one was the Sea Snake, which I did enjoy. That one was fine, but there was 2 Sea Snakes, by the way, 2 Sea Snakes. One of them I had really good experiences with. And then the other one, I didn't feel that it was as similar experience as the first one, if that makes sense. So this one, I'm going to sharpen up. I'm going to test the edge. I'm going to do it all. And that's what the video, when I review this, it's going to be about the knife, but a lot about the steel. I think after having enough experiences with this steel, by then, hopefully I'll be able to have a lot better conclusion to, you know, for the steel and what I think about it, and I'll have enough experiences at that point to really give a really good opinion on it. I did a video on it a while back, and I wasn't satisfied with my opinion. I wasn't satisfied with the video, and I didn't think you know, it was justified. I didn't think I even justified the steel in any way. And I almost felt bad after, because I hate to make a conclusion about a steel that I don't have that much experience with, and then the experiences I did have were wishy-washy. Some good, some not so good, some okay. And it just kind of, my mind was all over the place with it. So now we're going to get that done. But this knife, just right off the bat, if you like the way it looks, I recommend getting it. Now, I will say it's not cheap. It's about 70, 80 bucks, right around there. I got it within 24 hours, not even. I got it within like 16 hours when I ordered it. So the timing was really good. However, for the $70, $80, whatever it is, man, it's a good knife. It's a really good knife. I like it quite a bit. Locked up, very solid. The detent is very well tuned. The centering is good. The clip is very tight on it. If we look on the inside, it has 2 screws holding the clip on into the liner, so it is into steel. It's a reversible clip, by the way, too, which this thing is really good left and right-handed. So that's going to be another plus. Having the sharpening tool the way it is, the plunge grinds all the way back here. Plenty of steel to remove. You can see how thin it is. If I know it's black, so it's kind of hard to see with the coating. But you can see how, you know, how the geometry is going up the blade. Pretty good geometry. I mean, like I said, it's not a super slicer or nothing, but it's also not robust. It's in that good category where it's going to be a great slicer, yet not fragile. Now, I don't recommend prying with the tip. I did stab it into a couple tables. Why, I don't know, but I did. And I mean, it's just fine. I didn't go prying it out. You know, I just stuck it in and pulled it back out. But I think this thing's awesome. I really do like it. PVD coating, by the way, PVD coating, which should be a little bit more durable. Now, if you start noticing a little bit of wear when using it, you just keep using it, because it'll start blending in completely across the blade. Now, I'm not saying that you can't scratch it, because of course you can scratch it. It's a coating, but it should hold up relatively decent. And you know, it's a coating. I think we kind of, in my opinion, maybe not yours, I don't mind if a coating starts getting a little scratched up here and there. Now, of course, if I get a coating and I use it a couple times and it just peels off, that's another story. But the little bit, especially on a knife of this price, to me, it's a user, right? So I don't mind the little scuffs and nicks here and there in the coating. It's going to protect it from corrosion. And it's not that, I'm not going to say tacky. It's smooth, but it does have a little bit of a tacky feel to it. I don't want to say tacky. I can feel the coating. Kind of like, you know, like a bead blasted finish kind of. That's kind of like the texture, but it will get very smooth after using it a little bit. And I like how everything is nice and chamfered around the edges and everything. So it's nice and soft in the hand. It is thin though. So just squeezing it like this, yeah, you know, it's thin. But when I grip it how I'm going to grip it to use it, it's very comfortable. Push cuts are going to be really nice. I haven't done any push cuts yet, but I did do some slicing with it. I'm happy. I'm definitely happy. Well, and I like the way it looks, first of all. And I can just see, just looking at it, like kind of the blade shape, right? I guess this would be a drop point. It's almost like a spear point, which I do like. I like being able to do the utility cuts, drill a hole if I need to, but yet still have enough belly to use the belly. And I have a nice flat area for push cuts. It's probably the most versatile blade shape in my opinion. That's one thing that's very attractive to me about this knife. Then we have this swedge up top where you can see how it's thin right here. So when you're cutting, the material will be able to go around the blade as it's going, you know, coming through the stuff. You know, it'll be able to go around it because it'll have this little space up top to help, you know, get rid of friction. But yet this thickness right here, it's kind of hard to see because it is black. You see this little line right there down to the tip. That helps get a little bit of reinforcement behind the tip, but the tip is still nice and acute. Then, you know, this G10 feels like really good quality. And I haven't had a lot of CJRBs. I really haven't. I mean, I've had some. Don't get me wrong. I've had some. I own some. I've given a couple of them away. But I really haven't had a lot. I have some artisans. I've only had a few artisans too. So I'm definitely lacking. I'm a little bit behind with the channel with CJRB and artisan. I've had a couple of them. Or I've had like 5 CJRBs and a few artisans. But there are a lot of models that I do want to check out. Or especially some of the newer stuff, you know. I think it'd be nice to get some on the channel and start really using and testing them. Like I said, I didn't have the best experience with the ARPM9 steel, but I didn't have a bad experience. Like I said, I wasn't sure about it, but we're going to find out after this guy. The thumb studs do poke up just a little bit, but I kind of like it because, you know, just putting it in my hand, I instantly know right where the thumb studs are. It's like bam, they're just right there. Even if the reverse, or even in the reverse flick. And the flipper tab, it's not jimped or anything like that, but it really doesn't need it. It's just kind of in a good, not just a good spot, but you have a lot of leverage, and they leave a nice flat area on top, and it's not really pokey. You can do a push button or a light switch. I tend to do the light switch more, where I just yank right down, because the detent is so well tuned. It seems like once you break the detent, even if you do it softly, it opens up. Awesome knife. So there you guys go. That's my first impressions on it. And in the review, you know, like I said, I'll have all the testing from the steel and among a lot of other things. We'll see how this clip works. It looks like it's going to work great. I have had it a little bit in the pocket, not in any jeans, but I had it on my basketball shorts on my belt line, so I guess that doesn't count. But I think it's going to be a good clip. So there you guys go. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.